All right, hi everybody. Today we're going to go over making God rays in Unreal Engine 5. I'm going to start from the very beginning, so if you want to skip right to where the God rays part is, I will have a timestamp that's going to appear on screen pretty much right now. Otherwise, let's just get rolling so we can do a quick hitter here. First, we're going to open up Unreal Engine. We're going to go Games on the left. We're going to go Blank Project. We're going to name that project God Rays. Okay, so we want to make our own level and not use the default level. So we'll go down to Content here, right click, create new folder. Let's call it Levels. Let's right click inside the content browser here and create a level and call it Level Main. Let's save. Let's open up Level Main and you'll see it's a completely blank project. So now let's add in our lighting and sky. Go to the window, go to Environmental Light Mixer right here, and then click through these 5 right here. Create Skylight, Directional Light, Sky Atmosphere, Volumetric Fog, and Create Height Fog. And there you go. Back to our content browser. Let's save quick. Now let's add something in quick for our floor. If you've seen the Starting with Unreal tutorial, you're going to be pretty familiar with this. Let's add a plane in. Let's put that plane at 0, 0, 0. See over here on the right hand side. Now let's hit F to focus in on the plane. And let's scale it up, like maybe 1,000 and two axes. And there you go. Now we have a floor. Now that we have a floor, let's add some things that the God rays can kind of go through. So let's put a cylinder in on the left here. Let's pop her in. Scale that up. Maybe let's scale it, say, to 20 on the Z. You see it makes a nice long big cylinder there. All right, let's copy that a couple times. I'm using Control CV. You can also do the Alt key. All right, we'll do one more. Let's rotate this one so it's kind of crosswise. And then we'll make another copy. All right, let's save that. Beautiful, right? So now let's get our light so it's kind of shining through this. So if you hold Control and L, you open the light widget. And if you move it around, you can eventually see your sun and see how it's popping in there. Let's just leave it like that. Let's save quick. Let's turn off auto exposure in our project settings. Edit, project settings. Look up exposure. Untick auto exposure. Close that down. Now you'll see it makes everything really bright, which isn't what, but I like to have auto exposure off, and I'd like to get you guys in the habit of doing that. So let's fix this, the bright light. Go to your directional light. Let's turn the intensity down to, like, say 6 or 5. Let's do 5. Let's save. And then we'll make a quick material. So in your content over here, bottom left, make a new folder, call it materials. Right click in the content drawer, create new material. Let's name it M Blockout. These are just good habits to have. Open that puppy up. Hold 3 and left click. That'll give you a vector 3. Open that up. 0.35 in all 3 colors. Okay. And then plug that into base color. Save. Close that down. Now we'll put that on all of our stuff here. So just drag it onto each thing. Now you'll notice everything darkens a bit. And there you go. Now we have our blockout material on, and you can see the shadowed side from the back. So let's do the light shafts now. So let's click on our directional light. Remember, we put that in from our environmental light mixer. I think I'm going to put the intensity back up to 6, just so we can kind of get it really nice and bright. And then if you put the shafts here in the search, SHAFT, you can see the light shaft roll out here. So the first thing you want to do is click on light shaft occlusion. And if you look, you can barely see, but there are some light shafts going on there. Now when you click light shaft bloom here, that's when it'll really overblow it. And now you can really see that light effect coming through there. All right? So if you go back and you do your control, hold control and L, you can go through and move your light around, and you can see those shafts flowing through. Okay? Let's kind of get it into a kind of a fun position. That looks pretty good. Okay. One other thing we can do is we can play with the bloom scale here. So like say you want to make this even brighter, you can go really high and it'll blow it out like that. But we'll kind of leave it where it is, or you can go down and it'll take it down and make it not as crazy. We'll just kind of keep it where it is. But the one thing I am going to change right now is the bloom tint. This is pretty fun. You can go around and try different colors. We're going to stick with something like a yellowy color, and then we'll just click OK. Let's save that puppy. So that's the very basic light shafts, and you can pan back and forth. You can see, beautiful, nice, kind of the effect we're looking for. And the other thing is we can add a little bit more to it with using our exponential height fog. And going to, well, let's open the exponential height fog up. And you could play with the fog density here. We're going to set, I think we're going to do 0.15 for density. And you can see how everything gets foggier. Now this is still just your regular old fog, but it's still pretty cool. And if we go down to volume fog, click that on, now we're using volumetric fog, which kind of is very beautiful. And you can mess with some of the settings here, but the only one we're going to mess with right now is the albedo. So maybe we'll turn that to, I don't know, something fun, a little bit contrasty to the yellow to kind of give us a really good look. And also you can play with the fog start distance here on the right, on the bottom. If you set that, it won't be foggy for whatever distance you set that at. It's good now. I would play with the fog from here on out. One thing is when you're using volumetric fog and the God rays, you might run into instances where you're like, I don't really like the quality. That was one of the things that was hard for me to figure out. You can mess with the quality. I'll show you here. If you hit the tilde key, you can open up your command console. You'll see it's very much at the bottom of the screen down there. So I'll show you the command. It's R volumetric fog grid pixel size and equals. The lower, the higher the quality. So if I put in 4, the default is 8. If I put in 4, it'll give us a little bit higher quality fog. It's not really going to be noticeable to you guys on the video, but it would be noticeable if you were actually playing the game. You can also add that into your INI file. And why don't I show you that real quick? Let's just save this. Close this down. And then we're going to open up our engine INI file. And here you can see our settings. If you add a couple spaces in here and paste our volumetric fog setting in there, then every time that you open up the project, it'll have this new setting there. So save that. Let's open up our level again. And it went back to that default level. So let's go to our levels and open ours up. And there you go. So this is kind of a quick hitter video. I know that was really easy, but now you can make your sun do the God rays. Again, if you do the Control and L, you can move your sun around, do all sorts of cool little effects, as you can see there. So I just wanted to do a quick hitter tutorial while I work on the bigger beginners tutorial that's going to be building and lighting. Okay, a couple things I missed when I was doing the recording was, one, the shadow scalability settings will affect your volumetric fog settings, and also be careful with setting your grid pixel size for fog lower. It will affect your performance, and that's that. So I hope you guys have a great day, and hey, thank you very much. Have a good one.